Alright, so I've been waiting for a while to do this video. I got me a Creality K2. It's a Core XY printer, and I've been wanting one for quite a while, and I finally decided to pull the trigger on it. Now, I got this for a very reasonable price. It was on sale, come in a combo kit that had a CFS system, which is, I don't know, color filament system or whatever the hell they call it. I don't know. But yeah, I figured I'd give my 2 cents on this one here. So, not a very in-depth review. I haven't had it that long, but I will tell you some of the things that I've had and experienced with this printer, at least for the better part of a month and a half now. So, let's dive right in, and I'll go over some good stuff, and I'll go over some bad stuff.
Breaking them down, tearing them up, I just can't get enough, just can't get enough.
Okay, so as you can see, I'm printing something else out here right now, and we're just going to go ahead and get close to it while it's printing. It's just PLA, no big deal. As you can see, it moves pretty good. It does shake quite a bit. A lot of Core XY machines do, and as you can hear, it has got a little bit of noise. I don't care about that. I really don't. Some people might. Now, this is your screen. Shows your model. It's very kind of intuitive while you're doing it. It's got your nozzle temperature right there. And it's got your bed temperature and your chamber temperature as well, and your filament that you're working with. Now, we'll get into the filament stuff here in a minute. It's got a nice wiper in the back, which you can't see very well. It's actually behind the head here that's printing. It has a nice little wiper that it comes with and cutter. Pretty decent little system. As you see, you shut the door and it gets fairly quiet. So I've printed quite a few things with it already. Not really had a ton of issues with it. I've printed a lot of complex things, like these little dragons. They came out pretty cool. I printed some big ones. I printed some small ones. Articulated orca, little fish or whatever. Cat. Another articulated dragon. This one's pretty difficult because of the way that it, it's like this, but it's way smaller, and it printed fine. Printed rings for my filament up here to go on the side to help with the issue that I'll go over here in a minute. Printed this little Koopa guy here, articulated, pretty cool. I still haven't put him together or printed the other pieces that go with him. But yeah, pretty cool setup, right? I made a poop system, so this, I'll just kind of put you around the back here. So you can see where it comes out the back. I made a slide and a basket to catch my poop or whatever, right? I also have a whole bunch more down here that I make these guys with. So I got some silicone molds. I just basically take these, which is the leftover stuff, and I meld them together and they become stuff like this. I'll trim the edges down, blah blah blah, and I'll make stuff like this out of them. Little keychain things, whatever. Sell them for like $4 or $5, whatever. Just leftover pieces, something to kind of recycle it or whatever. I also do stuff like this. Another silicone piece that I haven't finished yet. I still got to sand the bottom and everything, but pretty cool. That one turned out really nice. And I got this guy here, like a little dragon or whatever. He turned out pretty good too. Now, I found a couple tricks here. So I bought a used blender at Goodwill, and I'll take these bigger stuff here and I'll chop it up into smaller pieces, which is why you're getting that weird little speckly look right there and right over there. It gives it a unique look, so I really like that. I'll take and I'll melt all that stuff together, And again, creates a very unique, pretty cool look, I think. I'm working on Venom back here. Got quite a bit left to go on them. I'm kind of failing at the painting part of it here, so I set it to the side for a little bit. Now back to this printer. So a couple things I really like about it. Most Core XY machines, they'll have like a lip or whatever right here. This one doesn't, so if you get anything in here, you can just brush it right off the front. Pretty cool. Screen is good. It's got a glass top here. Everything's pretty easy to hook up. I do have a spool holder for the side if I want to use like other filament that's not in the cabinet here in the CFS system. All you do is you unhook that right there and you hook this one in there and you're good to go. So CFS, I am very mixed on this system. As you see, I've got most of my filament not even threaded into the tubes. It keeps going into error on a lot of weird things. So it doesn't like the cardboard spools, which a lot of places use now. And I'm sorry, I'm not gonna buy a $30 spool, you know, roll of filament or whatever just to have it work properly. This thing should work properly from the box. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it goes in these weird errors. When it works great, it's awesome. When it don't, you might as well take it out, use the spool holder on the side, unless you're doing a color print. If you're doing a color print, the best thing that I had found was to just take these tabs, go like this, and lift it up. It has something to do with these spring holder things on the top. I think it kind of binds it or creates some sort of binding with it when it's trying to roll it back or either retract it or extrude it. So that's a good, that's a bad. Okay, let's go over a couple more things here. I had to buy these here, Voxel anti-dampering kind of vibration setup here for the machine. As you see, it moves quite a bit. Now, I didn't have to buy this, you know, I could have just left it go, but it was rocking the table pretty good. And as you see, it's got it a little bit out of alignment there, so every once in a while I'll just come over here and move the table back even while it's printing, and it shouldn't hurt anything as long as you're easy on it. Now let's go over some other things. They come with quite a few extras, some tools, anti-clogger or declogger or whatever. You got a little barcode there to find out more on their wiki. You got some grease in there, another little tool. So they come with a pretty decent amount of things with this printer. It's got a nice booklet, tells you a whole lot about it, parts, things that happen, blah blah blah. I got the K2 combo. Okay, so the instruction manual, guidebook, whatever, is fairly comprehensive. I mean, it's pretty decent for what you get. Tells you about unboxing and all that stuff. Now, they say that you can print, somewhere on here it says something about printing within 15 minutes. That's just a lie. First time when you get it out of the box, you have to do what they call a calibration setup on it. That process alone takes 10 plus minutes. So you're already at the point of, you know, unboxing it and printing it. You do have to unscrew your bed from the bottom of the, or your plate or whatever, from the bottom of the cabinet or whatever. I think there's one or two, there might be 3 or 4 screws, something like that. I can't remember. They're marked inside there. And there's a lot of packaging with this system as well, and it's kind of difficult to get unpacked. You have to put in your desiccant in your CFS unit, which is basically just these little like silicone dry packs or whatever the hell they're made out of. Basically, they just help keep the moisture out of the filament. It doesn't really dry it per se, which is why I eventually bought another dryer. But it helps keep it dry, if that makes any sense. Now, one thing that I like about this, I didn't get the large system, which is the, I'm going to get it wrong. I don't know. I can't remember if it's the K2 Pro or the K2 Plus. I think it's the Plus one that's like 300 by 300 by 300 or whatever. I got the 260 by 260 by 260. For years, I ran on an Ender that had a 225, 225, 225 bed. And what that means is 225X, 225Y, 225Z. So that's your space cubed. That's your build plate area or whatever they call that. So I got a bigger build plate to print bigger things. They rely on their wiki and their users to kind of find issues in the program, find issues with the printer, that kind of stuff, and then they'll fix it from there. At least that's what I see. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. Whereas other companies like Bamboo and Prusa and all these other places, they will take and do things a little differently. Like Bamboo will do some more extensive testing, which is why their product seems like it's better. Now, there are issues with their products as well, but it's kind of like buying an Android phone versus, I don't have one right now, but an Apple phone. There's not too many differences. They're both a phone, they're both smartphones, blah, blah, blah. But one of them is what my friend said the best years ago, and it just kind of stuck with me. One is the Fisher Price of electronics. It just works. That's what Bamboo is. So it's the Fisher Price of 3D printers. It just works. Creality, Anycubic, FlashForge, even Elegoo. They're all fantastic products, just like Creality. I've used Creality for years. But you're going to have a few things that are going to not work right, or you're going to have to figure them out or whatever. The good thing about that is you learn your machine a little bit better. The bad thing is sometimes you end up kind of like doing more diagnosing and things like that instead of just push button print. I wanted a little more push button print, but I don't mind some of the tinkering, I guess you'll say. So that's why I bought this one here. It came to me as a really good price. It was like $530 or $40 or whatever, which for the size and what I got with it is a pretty good steal. Now, I could have got a Bamboo P1S or P2S or whatever the hell that thing's called, but I don't know anything about Bamboo. They look fantastic. I know people that have them and they love them. I know Creality. I've had Creality forever, and I can use the Bamboo slicer for my Creality because it's just an Orca slicer that they redid for Bamboo. The same thing that Creality Print did. So Creality made Creality Print. It's basically just an Orca slicer that they basically redid with their own flavor, just like Bamboo did. Everybody says, oh, Bamboo's better, this and that, whatever. Well, they kind of did the same thing. Where products like Bamboo, I think, are better is I think they refine their product a little bit more before they send it out, whereas Creality tends to just say, here you go. A new product hit the market, with Core XY, or we have, better chamber heating, or we can support this filament or whatever. They're quick to get to the market because they're trying not to fall behind, I believe, in my personal opinion. But in doing that, sometimes I think they make a few mistakes, and you can see it. They try to correct it, over time with, firmware updates, and there's this upgrade for this printer or whatever, which it does work, but after a while people get kind of tired of that because they just want something a little more to work, which I think is some of the gripes that I have right now with the CFS system. So let's get into that. Now, the Creality CFS system is fantastic when it works. I've printed, oh my God, 200 things now. I've had 2 or 3 orders now for lithophane lamps. I've actually made quite a few dollars back on this, which is why I wasn't so afraid to buy this system. It's something I know. This is something that I personally made. As you can see, it's got great quality. It's a lithophane lamp. Got pictures all around it. Turned out really good. Now that's going to be for somebody in the family, but I do sell those as well. I'm working on a new price structure on things that I can sell. I've actually dove into a better CAD system and stuff, which we'll get into that later. But the CFS system, right now I'm actually using it, but I'm learning that when it goes into these little weird errors, like earlier I was trying to print something and I was going to walk away from it for a little bit and go upstairs, take a shower or whatever, and I was starting to walk away and I hear beep beep beep. Whoa, what's going on here? Every time it does anything, it wants to like pull all the filament in and then back out and in and then back out, and I don't know if it's just like the little motors in there. I remember years ago with Ender, the feeding gears, I can't remember what the hell they're called, but they would kind of like strip out your filament. Eventually they would break them or whatever. They just didn't hold it very well. It wasn't good quality gears. Probably has something similar to that going on there, because a lot of the Ender stuff was that way, and it was a simple upgrade, took about 10-20 bucks, and then you was golden. Same way with like the direct drive and stuff. This one here has a very unique setup. It doesn't have a quick disconnect for your I'll just show you. I got one right here. So this is an extruder, or hot end, or whatever. So there's no way to quick disconnect that like some of the other systems have, which is totally fine by me. It's not like you're going to be doing this every day, all the time. You're not going to be switching back and forth. So I don't know why people cry so much about it, other than the fact that they want everything to be, pristine. So that doesn't bother me too much. What does bother me is when you go to make a print and it has several colors in there, and you're relying on this to print, and you're using the same filaments that you've used for years, and they work good. Now all of a sudden it goes beep beep beep, goes in all kinds of errors, unexpected errors, my favorite one, because it tells you no information at all. Then it gives you a scan code that you scan it, and it takes you directly to the wiki for Creality. I don't like that. I'll just be completely honest. I like the fact that everybody's involved in the process and all that stuff, but when something breaks, I want to know exactly what it is, so I know exactly how to fix it. The more information you can give me, the quicker I can get things back up and running and go. This is something I use for a business. Granted, it is a part-time side hustle type business, but it is still a business. And I look at it kind of like in that mindset. Eventually, I'm probably going to get something nicer, like a bamboo or something. But I just didn't want to take that leap yet. I wanted to stay with what I knew. And as of right now, I'm happy with the system that I have. It could be better, but I am happy with it. And like I said, this is not an in-depth review. This is just things that I've noticed with it. I have noticed that when you don't use a lot of filament, for example, and it's constantly going back and forth on the same sections, to make little grooves and stuff in there, where it's pulling it and taking it back out, retracting and extruding, blah blah blah. The more you use your filament, like bigger prints and stuff, the less problems you seem to have. This here is something that I've recently printed really good. Okay, prints awesome. This is part of my crawler course that I'm working on. So this is something I've just been kind of working on for a while. These pieces were done on my Ender 3 before I get rid of it. And as you can see, the quality on it didn't turn out so fantastic. Had a few issues, but I'm still going to use those pieces because I'm probably going to put plaster over them and make, like, I don't know, backdrop sections, or maybe I'll just make a big climb out of it or something. I don't know. That was from the Ender 3. Still turned out pretty good. Ender 3, Ender 3. And then when we jump over to the K2, a lot different. A whole lot different. That's all printed from the K2, which I still have more shelves to print. I just print those when I get time. And this piece here is going to be a section for my Rainbow Road that I'm making. And it just connects right up. So I'll kind of do it one-handed here if I can. You see how easy it connects. So these pieces here that were printed on the Ender, they still need a lot of cleanup. I'm still going to use them. I'm still going to clean them up and everything because it's a crawler course. Who cares? I do find that sometimes it's better when you're printing PLA to leave your door open because it gets kind of warm in here. It don't seem to bother my filaments too much because I have my fan set to come on if the chamber gets above like 30 degrees. Now I want to show you a couple more things that I have printed. For this one here, I'm just going to use my pin light. This is a picture of my brother that's no longer with us. It was something that I wanted to give to his daughters for Christmas, but I couldn't figure out how to do it for a long time. I was very new to lithophanes. So if you look at the light behind there, see how it kind of makes the image. It still turned out really good, but this one here on the website that I was using, you got like this border and stuff. I guess you can chop it off of there if you want, but I'm not going to do that. So I also printed something else. These I think are super cool. These are, I think they call them kit cards. And I printed this with my rainbow print. And as you can see on the back here, they're numbered. Hopefully you can see that. Maybe you can see that. Yeah, there you go. There's some of the numbers there. So where you get the print from, I think I got this one from, I think it was Creality's, because they have a section on theirs kind of like Maker World, and it says which ones go with what, or which pieces go where. It kind of tells you how to put it together. So it's pretty cool. I just haven't done it yet. Basically, you would take your cutters here and just kind of cut out the pieces there and just put it together. And it creates like a 3D but like skeletonized look. This one is going to be a Stegosaurus. I thought that was super cool. They've got a bunch of Star Wars ones on there that I want to try. But those are just for my own personal, playing around. Stuff like that prints absolutely fantastic. I've printed a few PETG pieces, and PETG can be a pain in the ass to work with. As long as your PETG is dry, it prints fine. It doesn't do well when it has a little bit of moisture in it. Now, obviously, that's, all printers do that. So yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, this is kind of a review, but not really. It's more of my experience with this machine. Your experience may be different. You may not have any problems, or you may have a bazillion problems. I mean, I can't speak for everybody. I can only tell you what I've experienced, what I've done. I'm kind of methodical about when I do something. I try to do it on the slower side. I try to think about it. But I mess things up from time to time. When I was printing the bodies for my little JB, Giabelli, or whatever, the little crawlers I was working on, I kept getting my orientation wrong. And I know better than that. I know to, if I want this face to look real pretty or whatever, I've got to orientate it to where the supports aren't going to be touching that. Or at least touching it in a delicate area where it says Chevrolet or whatever. I know it's going to jack that up. So there's different things you can do too. You can make different type of support pieces. You can bring it off the piece a little bit. You can make it organic. You can put brims at the bottom. There's all kinds of little tricks you can do, but there's so many of them. It's not just like a one size fits all kind of thing. So it's a learning curve. Best thing I can describe. But it's been a good machine so far, and I don't see any reason why I'm going to have too many more problems than what I've already had. So, having said that, I like the machine. I'd probably buy another one, and my next one is probably going to be a different machine though. I'm thinking about either maybe a Centauri Carbon, like the number 2 with the print, or the color print, or a Bamboo. I really want to try Bamboo. I may not get like the H2 whatever. I might just get the A1 Mini or something, something a little more cost effective. I don't know. But I do want to try Bamboo, see what the big hoopla is so I can kind of compare. I watch all these videos, and I know a lot of videos people are getting free machines or free parts or free filament or whatever, so that kind of drives their reviews and stuff. So that's why I wanted to come on here and do this and tell you exactly what I've dealt with and how good or bad it's been for me. And some things have been hit or miss, but overall it's been fantastic. So I hope this helps you guys out, and if there's any questions at all about 3D printing, I'm probably doing a terrible job of explaining, but I know quite a bit. I've learned quite a bit. I'm more than happy to help you out. If you have any questions or whatever, just post them in the comments below. I try to get to my comments as much as possible. Even sometimes at work when I'm on break, I just pop in, look at my comments, and I'll respond right away. So yeah, it's something I try to kind of keep it real on, because there wasn't a lot of help out there when I first started doing this stuff, and that kind of aggravated me. So I try to pay that forward. So yeah, any questions, put it down below. Anything I've missed that you want me to talk about, or experiences I've had or whatever, post it below. I try to cover what I've done so far, being a little general. But yeah, I'm sure there's some stuff I'm missing here. So and I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you.